Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's get straight into your sport news. Now, Eswatini MTN Premier League champions Nsingizini Hotspurs FC are in the country, and that's for their pre-season friendly matches. Now, Hotspurs won the league title for the first time in 2024-2025 under the interim coach, and that's South Africa's Phiri Ngomane. The club have since appointed the former Orlando Pirates DDC team coach, Mandla Qhogi, for the new season. They took on Sekhukhune United in Benoni just yesterday, and they will travel to Rustenburg to face Mamelodi Sundowns tomorrow afternoon. Now, the team's representatives join me live here in studio. Thank you so much for coming through, gentlemen. Manel, let's start with you. You know, when we talk about Eswatini and some of the powerhouses that we've known in the past years, Abo Babani Highlanders, you know, Swallows, Royal Leopards, Manzini Wanderers. Now we've got a new king, you know, in this kingdom, and that is Nsingizini Hotspurs. Maybe just give us a brief background on the club.
Thank you. Good evening, Qhogi, and the viewers of SABC. Thank you so much for hosting us. Of course, Nsingizini Hotspurs is a club that has come to break the barriers, the norms in football. The traditional big four of the country of Eswatini have come into the space to disrupt that. Nsingizini was born in 1984. Of course, it's been a long road, but in terms of progress, we're talking about 7 years in progression in terms of professionalizing it and coming into the space of Eswatini football and really raising the head in terms of being a competitive force. But in the Premier League of Eswatini, this is our third season. And to say that in our third season, we've lifted the championship, and also we've got 2 cups that we did back to back called Momo Cup before we even lifted the prize of Premier League, the championship.
No, that
and of course, in that period, we've already played in one cup competition, which is the CAF Confederation Cup last year against Stellenbosch from this country.
No,
so it's been
it really is fantastic, and that's why I want to bring in the captain, you know, because we speak about the CAF Confederations Cup in that prelim stage. It didn't go quite well, but just in terms of playing on the continent against teams such as, you know, Stellenbosch FC, what were your key takeaways as a team, and of course you as the captain?
Ngivuzele Qhogi, asibonge lithuba. Ngithatha ukukhuluma nyalo ukuthi ke khona sakufunda sizana eStellenbosch kuyakha futhi nekwasita kakhulu sabuye nawangwane sakhona ukuthatha iligi lo ukuthi nengasenda lo ukuthi idlale ekhafu thina kungasenda sibe ne-experience more thina kuyasikhuthaza thina kakhulu kunakucala nalokuthi sinike lelithuba ukuthi sichayise nathi siyafisa ukudlala ngaphandle usenda kahle ukuthi nathi sibe comfortable sikhona ukudlala nabantu labangetulu thina kusinike experience more.
Yeah, no, definitely, you know, and just in terms of that, Nelly's really speaking about the experience gained on playing on the continent, you know, and just that hunger that it really does give the team to make sure that they go back again and try even better, because now we're going to be chatting about ECAF and now the Champions League. But of course, I want to bring in the coach who did the hard work. You know, you cut your teeth in SA football as a coach, as an analyst, and so much more. When you arrived in Nsingizini, what did you find there? How were you able to steer the team, who had finished third the previous season, to now winning the Premier League?
Thanks very much for the opportunity. Look, when I arrived there, I was called in to come and assist in developing the club's playing philosophy. So I was basically on the back room working on that with the management as well as the president. Whilst we were busy with that, then we realized that we needed somehow to accelerate the process by bringing in that philosophy in the very same season. So the president then asked me to say, hey, Mr. Ngomane, please, it would take us too long if we were to wait for another season. Why don't we just start now by letting you come onto the field and start initiating that process of unleashing the philosophy that we're developing? So that's what we did. And I found a crew of very, very talented young boys. And to me, that's the beginning of everything. Where there's talent, then there's always hope. My responsibility was then to create that performance system that would then talk to them, that would talk to their knowledge about football, their beliefs about football, because that is what philosophy is all about. So we're able really to come together and come up with an approach that will make us deliver a brand that's very, very unique in terms of the on-the-field product, the technical product on the field. So it worked on very well for us, and the boys really delivered. But what was very impressive for me was their ability to rise from being outcome thinkers and become effort thinkers. They are focusing on their effort more than they focus on the outcome of the match. So that in itself was a shift of paradigm in terms of how we see, understand, and execute football development on the field of play. So it's a bunch of very, very good players. I will not be surprised if in the Champions League they have a surprise, 1 or 2 surprises for many of the teams that will play against. But really, I was very much impressed with the support which the boys gave and their attitude. It's something that really one has to appreciate throughout my career as a footballer.
Oh, that is excellent. Winning 19 of the 26 matches, only losing 4, I think was just a stellar season. Manela and Simon, I actually want us to take a look at the screen because there are pictures that I want to bring up. You know, in the past, especially in South Africa's PSL, we had so many Eswatini players who were playing for the biggest teams, and now we don't find that it is happening a lot. Why do you think there is that gap now? Banele, let's start with you.
Thank you, Cole, for the opportunity. I think it's a combination of factors, but one that we must highlight as a country, the talent is there, no doubt about that. One of the main issues is development, proper resources in terms of developing. If you can look at these players that you're talking about, most of them, they are a product of a development league that we used to call Chappies League. So, and also schools sport. So I think as a country, we have missed, there is a gap in terms of that. But I'm happy that we are now coming back in terms of that. We can see that school sport is already developing in the country. Again, companies are pumping in the resources just to make sure that our youngsters are playing in an organized setup, because like I've mentioned earlier, the talent is there. It's just an issue of resources. And also, of course, once the resources are there, the confidence will be back from our youngsters. We can see them also rising up and competing again in the big stage.
I mean, but how long, you know, until we see the likes of Abo Dlamini again playing for Chiefs?
Look, development is very, very standard. When we talk development, development can happen from the base, development can happen from the middle, development happens from the top. So everybody is developing, even those who are now at a higher level. When you want to chase them, they are also intending to develop themselves even further. And chances are that if you keep on following them without any intention to really become an African hunter, to really find a way to say, how can I go past them? Chances are that you'll remain a follower. So at Nsingizini Hotspurs, we are not a follower. We are not followers. What we do is to try and make sure that whilst we learn from those who have come before us, from those who are doing well, we want to identify our own performance edge to say, we have an edge in this particular aspect. I wouldn't disclose those aspects. Eswatini players have got an edge. And this is a genetic thing. So when you look at the genetic structures of the players there, that's why you are mentioning the players of yesteryears who came and graced our shores here. They did so well. That is a sign that genetically there is something in there. But what is it that we do as a Maswati, as the nation of Eswatini? Do we say, we're a small country, or we rise and say, what's our competitive edge? We can rise above this level where we are and catch up with those who are ahead of us, but most importantly, with the intention to go past them. A hunter doesn't just hunt the animal by following the animal. You come up with strategies to say, no, we're going to go via the wings and see that we can put the animal in the middle, and then we catch it.
Sure.
So we got to be very, very strategic in our approach. And I'm sure in Nsingizini Hotspurs, that's what we are doing.
No, absolutely. And of course, yesterday, Deluso, you were facing Sekhukhune United. Tomorrow, it will be Sundowns, the CAF Champions League finalists in this previous season. So just in terms of the match yesterday, how did that pan out? And as a team, what are you trying to do to make sure that you are ready for the CAF Champions League stage?
Yeah, Xoli. Thine itolo lo mdlalo simdlalile yesterday. Thine sidlale kahle kunenge lesikufundzile. Sithethe timvo leti singathatha na coach bekasitshela ukuthi approach yabo bathi approach kanje. Ya le ndlela si approach ngayo thine si approach kahle but nje asikakhona kuwina but ke thine simcoka ngekufundza kakhulu kuwina seyibonus kithi sitofundza kahle kahle kuwina seyibonus kithi le game le bengasilula belikhuni bonke siwafakile namandla nabo sabona ukuthi hey nyalo sebashintsha lenye ligiya lesengetulu sakhona but kubuya sabamba igame kahle saba kahle saqhubeka sadlala hawu sibonile nathi ukuthi kude lokungasilula ibhola yinye ibhola yinye nathi singadlala labadlala khona ibhola yinye nathi sifuna kuwina nabo bafuna kuwina yeah bese siya kule game yakusasa nakusasa but akusilula but isitotmisela siyathi ukuthi iSundowns i-team lenkulu siyayihlonipha but groundini ngeke siyihloniphe because nathi siyathi ukuthi sidlala yinye ibhola kungendeka noma yini groundini ibhola le.
No, I absolutely love that. And for a team to be at the very best, you have to be playing against the best, you know. So even if the result didn't go well against Sekhukhune United, but what the captain, Nelisa, is emphasizing is that it really is about that combination play and making sure that they understand how they are going to be implementing their strategies. And that's the same thing that they're going to do against Sundowns. They're not going to fear them. Manela, before I get to you, because I want us to chat now about the mandate going into the season. As a sporting director now, Simon, it's almost a different headspace that you're in. In terms of bolstering the squad, what have you been able to do just in terms of this off-season? Have you lost some quality or key players? What's it looking like in terms of recruitment in the club?
Quite correct, necessarily so. First of all, it was the understanding that we had to develop with the technical personnel, the coaching staff. Because you remember that we appointed a new head coach in Mandla Qhogi, and then with his team of technical personnel, the assistant coaches, the goalkeeper coaches, and so on, everybody, we had really to come around the table and identify our way. And our way is always to make sure that we are all in sync, we are all on the same page in terms of our process. Not just looking at results, but looking at the process. And I must say, I'm very pleased with the process that the coaching staff have engaged on. The results are showing. The players are growing in leaps and bounds day by day, and I can tell. And that is based on the curriculum that we have put for ourselves. To say step-by-step development. It's development from the top. We're in the Champions League. Let's push our players to reach that level. That is why we're playing the matches that we're playing. We played Sekhukhune yesterday. We're back here now. We're playing Sundowns tomorrow. So those are matches like our captain has indicated that will really help raise the bar, which is very, very much important, so that you can see the mental growth of the players. Because players must be able to explain what they are doing as a process. They can't just be physically involved, running around. They got to be aware of the process, both in attack and in defense. And I must say, the youthful coaching personnel that we have put together, I'm definitely sure that there's a future in there. It's all of us having to put our feet firmly on the ground, look head up into the future and say, we're prepared to learn, unlearn, and relearn. It's a standard thing in football. Everybody must go through that process of unlearning, learning, and relearning. You never say, I'm complete. The game is the best teacher. and I'm having a technical team that understands that. And I'm looking forward to a great season.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, because this game is just so dynamic.
Yeah.
As the CEO, you are going to look at this past season and, of course, rave about it. But it shouldn't be one of those seasons where it's almost like a one-hit wonder. You want to make sure that the success is repetitive.
Yeah.
So just in terms of the mandate that you've given, you know, the likes of the captain, Uneli, of course, Simon, the sporting director, the team at large. What are you now looking to achieve going into this new season?
Thank you, Toli. The leadership of the team, led by the president, Mr. Derek Shiba, has already given us the mandate that this season we want to go to the group stages of the CAF Champions League. That's number one. Secondly, we're going to defend the league in Eswatini and win another one major cup. So that's clear from all of us. And we've already shown that in terms of coming here and investing in the training camp and making sure that we play with an opposition that will be playing in the same competition like us, which is Mamelodi Sundowns tomorrow. This is to ensure that our players, they are aware of what is ahead of them and also the learnings that they will take into playing in the CAF Champions League. We'll also use last year's experience in CAF competition, the CAF Confederation Cup, to help us to also go to the group stages. And of course, in Eswatini, we want to dominate, because dominating in Eswatini gives us the platform to go to the CAF competition. So we'll continue where we have left off.
Okay, and then just before we wrap up, in terms of selecting the opposition, Sekhukhune and Sundowns, of course, one of the very best who finished in the top four, and of course Sundowns that has been dominating the league. But what exactly informed that decision in terms of those specific opponents? And I'm also going to come through to you for that.
Thank you so much, Toli. The main one is that our players must learn from the past, in terms of, like you rightly saw, these are very competitive side that we've picked. Of course, the coach played a major role in terms of the selection. But from us, management, we understood that really for us to really compete, we need to gauge ourselves against the best. And it doesn't come better than Mamelodi Sundowns. They've just came back from the Club World Cup. So for us, we are next to them. So they are our benchmark in terms of where we want to go as a club. So really, that's what informed us to come here in Gauteng and play against the best.
All right. Some people are going to be listening to this and say, the Pirates is one of the best as well. And then Naketa Sundowns pen.
Yeah.
Quite correct. Quite true. We're looking forward to such matches as well, but unfortunately some of those matches couldn't be fixtured on the same schedule because of time constraints. But nevertheless, we are all looking forward to still get the opportunity to come and play against such opponents. Really, teams like Pirates, Sundowns, or even Sekhukhune, you know, quite a number of teams, even Chiefs themselves, they came back strongly. So you can see that football is growing in the region, because really it's not only about us as in a country, it's about the whole region, in the SADC region. Can we compete against West Africa? Can we compete against North Africa? Can we compete against East Africa? So we got to, or even Central Africa, we got to look at ourselves as a collective more than anything. And the base for every development is for our players to learn to conquer in their region, compete in their region, and be a force there. Then take that experience and we go and test it against the other regions. That's very much important in terms of development of football on the continent.
That is just well put. Thank you so much for gracing our studio. Really wishing you all of the best. I've got no doubt that you will be able to live up to that mandate, which is to defend the league and to at least get to the group stages of the CAF Champions League. So in studio, we were joined by Hotspurs captain, that's Nelliswa Dlamini, Simon Ngomane, who is the sporting director of Nsingizini Hotspurs, and of course the CEO, Banele Ngobe, and of course reflecting on the season that was and letting us know about the mandate for the next season. Of course, yesterday they played Sekhukhune United, and tomorrow it will be a big one up against Mamelodi Sundowns in terms of those pre-season friendly games.